Bye-bye, Flo Flo. I miss you. Flo, I miss you.
So as I discussed before, a funny thing happens when you, the foreign guy, leaves the PI on any type of trip. Immediately upon your departure, your wife's entire family moves into your place. Now, it's the culture. All right? It's a good thing. Families like being together. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that your wife's entire family moves into your place. I'm just telling you what to expect if you move to the PI and you have a Filipino wife or girlfriend. This is what happens. Don't get upset. Don't act shocked or surprised because I'm sharing with you real life. Just what happens, right? And the positives are, she has a whole support network right there. She never has to be alone. The negatives are you come back, all your cans of tuna are gone. All your canned goods that you had in that you thought you were saving up for a typhoon emergency, consumed, eaten, down that hatch. And you'll be low on rice. It is what it is. There's pros and cons to every situation. I think if you're surprised by it, that's when you're like, what the hell's going on? The minute I leave, everybody comes over and hangs out. I'm not running a hotel here. You got to understand the culture. You're not in Kansas anymore. Things are different. So anyhow, with all that said, right, hope you're learning something from our show about real life, about the culture, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm not casting stones. There's plenty of bad and ugly about culture in America, right? But I'm not in America. Okay? My current travels, most of the time I'm hanging my hat in the PI. And so that's what I'm sharing with you. All right? If I up and move to Uzbekistan tomorrow, I will obviously share with you the ground truth of Uzbekistan culture. Good, bad, and ugly. So what I like to do is not complain too much about the never-ending 24-hour family reunion at my crib. I don't complain. All right? I don't complain. The kids love it, right? Your kids love to be around family. I don't complain. But when it gets close to time to me to return, I want everybody to get the hell out. That way, me and the old lady can talk business. She can make sure that she cleans the place, cleans out my ref, gets everything put back so I don't walk in to the chaos after traveling, right? That's the worst thing if you travel, especially if you're coming from the other side of the world. I'm on a quick flight, but I got to ride a damn bus for 5 hours. The last thing I want to do is come home to a dirty house full of people. So, a few days before, throw everybody out, tell them to go back to their respective places of residence. Get the hell out. You don't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. The foreign guy's coming back, and everybody's like, "Oh fuck." It is what it is. So I told her, "Hey, Friday, tell everybody get the hell out. That way we got the weekend to get things in order." So the first part of this video is her evicting her sister. Now, a couple of points. Her sister had moved in to the point she had like 2 huge trash bags worth of clothing and gear over at my place. I'm like, damn, I ain't been gone 2 weeks. That's how strong they're gonna move in. She brought all the shit over there. That's why I gave her that cabinet, that new wardrobe, to encourage her to take her shit back to her house and spend some time over there. So anyhow, that was like in the morning. And then at night, when I'm planning on sitting down and having some conversations and some planning meetings about, you know, some upcoming travel plans that we have, some stuff we've got to do, who pops his head out of the room? There's little Oopal. I'm like, hey, I thought I said everybody needs to go home so we can talk business and get some shit done. She said, yeah, well, Flo left. Okay. But she forgot to take her kid. You cannot make this stuff up, right? So, later that night, the girl's back like a boomerang. And it's been back ever since. It's like the trip I went on before, Flo had moved in before my feet even hit the bus. You know, at the bus station, like 5 minutes away from the crib. She'd already moved in. And it's like she runs it. He was probably laying up on the couch messing with my remote until, hey, you know, the canoe will be here in about 30 minutes. Fuck. And then, you know, look, I love everybody in the old lady's family. Trust me, I love everybody. But our culture, we're not used to a 24-hour family reunion. And that's where you're going to have to make some concessions if you move close to your wife's hometown or her village. You're going to have to understand, if I move within a short distance, this is everyday life for you. And so I've always said the best way to do it is to live one island away from your wife's family. Not being mean, but it's your retirement. You worked for 30 years in the grind, and now it's your retirement, and it's okay to think of you, the guy paying the bills, because nobody else is going to. So if you really don't want this type of lifestyle, you need to move one island away. For example, your wife's from Cebu, boom, you move up to Luzon. That way they can't get there. If you live anywhere within a $150 bus ride, they can get there unexpectedly. Again, I'm just stating reality, not judging. But even if we move to Cebu City, well, it's an easy 5-hour bus ride, 300 pesos, and you got family knocking at the door. If I move to Luzon, ain't nobody getting on a plane and coming to my door. That's how it works. So being that we live right across the cow pasture from her sister, who has a place to live, who has a place over there, spends all her time at my place, right? Well, why is that, you ask yourself, if you've never... Because they don't got a big screen and aircon. It is what it is. So, I'm going to play this video of Fatima kicking her sister out, which basically all it meant was she took her 2-3 trash bags full of trash back across the cow pasture. She didn't leave. Her stuff left, but she's still there as I sit here and talk to this camera. A nice Nescafe latte. Folks, I don't claim to be right about everything. I'm not always casting stones. What I do here is more like a documentary. It's like a running documentary. When I say I'm a documentary filmmaker, half the stuff I do is like documentary style. And of course, half of it, some of it is theatrics. But if you want to hear the top 10 places to retire, that type of shit, that's not what you get here. Okay? So me sitting here complaining about she hasn't kicked everybody out yet, that's just real life. That's just real life. I don't want to go home to a house full of people that hasn't been cleaned up. If I don't walk in that door and hear silence other than my children and smell pine saw, I'm not going to be a happy camper after riding that damn bus for 5 hours. I don't think it's too much to ask. And don't ever think that when you're paying the bills that it's too much to ask. Just because you go live in somebody else's country doesn't mean you have to adhere to their cultural ways 100%. That's where people get the wrong idea about how these interracial or intercultural or international relationships work. Pick any country. If you're from the US and you move to the girl's country, you do not have to adhere to 100% of her culture. It doesn't work like that. Because just because you move to the Philippines and you live there for 5 years, you are not Filipino and you're never going to be. You're an American. All right? And so they have to respect or at least acknowledge or adhere to your 50% of the relationship is American, 50% is Filipino. That's it. That's the way it is. And somewhere around that middle is where everybody can remain happy, right? So what works for me is when I'm gone, I tolerate what goes on. When I'm there, I don't want a family reunion 24/7. That's me. I'm not used to that. I'll never get used to that, even though I've went more to the middle to number one, make her happy, and number two, it's good for the kids being around family. Doesn't mean that this old pirate, introverted asshole of a pirate likes being around that many people all the time. Not going to apologize. What allows me to be that close to family is because it takes me back to the 70s, the way I was brought up. I was always around my cousins, my grandparents, so I grew up with that. But if you didn't grow up with that closeness and intertwined business and everyday life with family, it's even going to be more difficult for you. How do you mitigate it? Wife from Cebu, you moved to Luzon. Hey, now it's just you and your old lady. It's a nice, quiet, peaceful, everyday life and your retirement. Move anywhere near her village. Quiet is not a word I would describe in everyday life. So there you go. And again, folks, not picking on the PI, it just happens to be where I'm at. I could easily, if I was still married to my Thai wife, it would be the same. I'd be telling the same story. Maybe not to the extreme of the PI. PI is like to the 10th power, but I would still be telling the same story. So just food for thought. You don't know where to live. You want to build a house in your wife's village. Do you really want that lifestyle? You better think about it. Or would it be better if you're sitting up in Makati in your condo, sipping on your Starbucks, thinking about catching a movie or going to Outback? Versus me, where I'm at in the village, ain't too many food options. Ain't no Starbucks. A lot of people, all they think about when you start planning on your retirement, all you're thinking about is when is my Social Security going to kick in? All you're thinking about is the money. Now that's the biggest challenge, right? Once you get some money locked down, but it's a very small slice of other things you need to think about before you just, I'm moving to my wife's village, live happily ever after. Whoa, Cochise, you better slow them horses down. Ease on into that water and see if you can deal with that lifestyle. Just the way it is. Enough of me jaw-jacking. Without further ado, let's roll the chaos going on back at Green Acres Ranch.
Uy, ikaw dalari, Bikas. Ikaw dalari. Napaw. Napaw. Yung basura din gali. Ako ka na siya gipalayas.
Basura to ni, basura.
Apay. Palayas gilak.
Tara, chinilas mo nga. Chinilas mo.
Bye.
Water lang katungko.
Gilayas pa more. Bye-bye, Flo Flo. I miss you. Flo, I miss you. Bye-bye, Flo Flo. I miss you. I love you.
Not see me anymore.
Flo Flo, I love you. Opaw, I love you.
Chinilas.
Hoy, ibili na ako ang kuan sapatos.
Oh, pada ito katungkuan tayo. Kaya ako lubot ya.
Kita aja na ron. Adi manday danghog. Kita aja na lubuta ron.
Ay, lagi pagduwag bas.
Ibili niya. Hoy, put your slipper na ay.
Ayaw pa sila pag chinilas.
Basi matunok lagi siya eh.
Ano ito? Sige na, pagduwa ng mong bibi. Nakaunsa ko. Gutom ko.
Hoy. Put your slipper na.
Basta imong gulo ga.
Baliktad eh, baliktad. Good job. You don't want to.
Ha?
Ligo na mo adto.
Ha?
Boris. Liga, 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 liga.
Uy. Ha?
Kadoon lang sa isla tino.
Layo deh kayo.
Ano ba?
Bisa nih dire bro.
Dito no, te. Asa ang ko na nadra? Ay mo nagibit ngil di ay no.
Ato ka dagat lang ngayon to.
Sino mo bata ayaw ni mo. Ngali taro.
Puro basta lang lagi mo.
Isa dagbas.
Lang na puro. Jaringan lodge. 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 Tala. I'm going to cook
Ay
this.
pakita nga.
Bang, bang, para, bang, 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 bang.
Ding, 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 ding. Can you give that to mommy? Give that mommy. Give that carrot to mommy. Oh, you want to eat the carrots? Here. No, you can eat. Good job. Kaya ba mo kinsay na balik? Ako naman taning gipalayas niya. Di man dyan siya mulayas eh.
Nangos mama.
Ako man ang gipalayas. Yan din di balik man o.
Ate.
Ako na lang siyang gipahugas.
Ate.
Ah.
Sayang sa inyong mga gamit mo.
I kick her out because
Lasa ni
she's
mo.
still coming back. So I tell her, go wash the plate in there.
Oh my mind. Gada ko man ko no. Nalay sulod ah. Tera ba na? Pag ano na ko na siya, kasi gamit na siguro kamong gasol ato.
Di lang day uy, ngay murag kagahi rag na ako.
Ito man.
Sabunan na ako ni. Kagahi na ako.
Si Madeline, magkatawa ko niya gapon, di ba? Wala siya nibayad sa Crispy King. Para lang ikaw dyan.
Ala, kakusog naman ana.
Alirat yan.
Kakusog naman ana.
Isad, tubig ito.
Eh, di, sad lo.
Imbes mo, ang dami ron.
Gatay, baba.
Wala kay mama.
Wala kay mama. Pau, wala kay mama, Pau. Eh, di mo lang si mama ni mo.
Ha? Maybe daw ko na sa baby. Ow! Push mo, bilit.
Jingle all the way.
As you can see, she's right back on the couch. So I'm sitting here thinking, right? What if you can't stop the party? What if you just relocate the party? So that couch is a popular attraction. Now it goes hand in hand with the TV and the aircon, right? It's like the fire triangle. Aircon, TV, couch equals my wife's sister. Well, same with the fire triangle. If you remove one of the elements, was it heat, fuel, oxygen? Is that right? You don't get a fire. So what if I take away the couch? Better yet, move the couch to the village. If I move the couch to grandma's house, would Flo migrate and hang out in the village because of the couch? Probably not, because that leaves the aircon and the big screen. What if I remove the aircon? I guess then I'd be sweating. I guess to relocate Flo, I'd have to send the TV and the couch. I guess I'd have to send all three. But then, I don't know if that'd work, because then they're running up their light bill instead of mine. Might not have the same effect. But when I get back, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to remove one element out of that triangle at a time and see if it has any effect. So for example, for 1 week, take the air conditioner offline. Oh, it's broken, whatever. See if it still have, everybody wants to hang out, watch TV, and sweat. Then the next week, turn the aircon on, take the TV out. Now you got the couch and the air con. You know what I mean? Just sort of do like a scientific study just to see what happens. Who knows? Maybe I'll break down and give Flo that couch. I don't know if she'd spend any more time at her own place. I don't know. But it sparked my curiosity. Sometimes I just entertain myself, folks. Alright. Hope y'all enjoyed this little quick video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my voice. We'll see you guys on the next show. Peace out.